The 2012 MacBook Pro. In my opinion, this is one of the best laptops that Apple has ever made. When you take a look at the upgradability, the performance, and the longevity of this thing, 11 years later, and people are still using these. So today we're going to take a look at the 2012 MacBook Pro in 2023. First, some quick specs on the computer I'm using in this video. This is the mid 2012 MacBook Pro. It's the 13-inch. I've upgraded the RAM to 16 gigs, and I've also upgraded the storage to an SSD. If you have not upgraded the RAM and or the storage yet, make sure you do both. It makes a huge difference in the performance of these machines. Now, the latest version of the operating system that's officially supported on the mid 2012 MacBook Pro is Catalina. And Catalina still runs great if you do web browsing, emailing, if you have older versions of different pieces of software on there, especially Apple software. It's great. The problem comes when you want to try to upgrade that software, because now if you try to upgrade any of the Apple software through the store, you'll get a message saying that it's not supported. The operating system is not supported anymore. And you can't install those updates. And unfortunately, there's other third-party software vendors that are kind of going that same route. So if you just want to use the computer for web browsing, emailing, word processing, maybe you might have to use some open source word processors like LibreOffice or something, it works fantastic for that. But if you want to use it with some modern software, we're going to get into that area now. Now, although Catalina is the latest version of macOS that's officially supported on this computer, we're not completely out of luck, because you can install the latest version of macOS, which at the time of this video is Ventura. And you do that using a product called OpenCore Legacy Boot Patcher. Now, I did an entire video on this, walked you through step by step. I'll put a link to that video up in the corner and down in the description if you want to see what's involved with that. And in that video, I talked about a lot of performance issues and a lot of the functions that weren't working, and I couldn't recommend it at the time. Well, with the newer versions of the Legacy Boot Patcher and Ventura 13.1 that came out, things have changed and I can now recommend this. So I want to talk a little bit about it now. Now, first of all the hardware and everything works in Ventura. It works great. Performance is great. Even by today's standards in 2023, it still performs very, very well for most basic computer tasks. Web browsing, emailing, doing word processing, things like that perform just as you would expect. And if that's all you want, this is a great machine for that. You can get these for, 100 to 150 bucks now on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, wherever you buy your used equipment. It's a great buy if you just want to do general stuff. Now, let's say you want to do more than just the general stuff. You want to use some Apple products. Well, this is an official version of Ventura. It's just been modified to run on official Apple hardware. So you can use the Apple Store, you can use iCloud, iMessage, Messages, all that kind of stuff work just as you would expect. And the issue that I mentioned previously about not being able to download the newest versions of software or updates to Apple software from the store is not an issue on this computer, because that is a limitation of the operating system and not the hardware. So as an example of that, I'm launching up Final Cut Pro here. I have all the latest patches and it launches with no complaints and works well. And kind of while we're talking about Final Cut Pro, it's amazing how well video editing works on this machine, especially in Final Cut Pro. I tried DaVinci Resolve. It doesn't work quite as well on this computer. But Final Cut Pro works great. You can edit 1080p videos, no problem. You can edit 4K. Might get a little sluggish. You might have to drop the resolution or make some proxy files. But you are able to do full video editing on this computer, that's 11 years old now, and you can get it for about 100 to 150 bucks. It just blows my mind how powerful this computer still is. The same thing goes for other creative software. If you're doing audio editing, audio recording, audio sequencing, various digital audio workstations work great on this computer. Now, there are some limitations. If you're doing large projects, you're going to run into limitations on this, because there are some limitations with the processor. I mean, we're talking about an 11-year-old processor, 11-year-old architecture, but as long as you're not doing massive projects, it works just fine. And the same goes for photo editing as well, as long as you're not using huge raw images on this where you're doing tons of correction on it, then you can get away with using this. If you're doing anything more in depth, you're gonna probably have to invest in something that's a little more powerful than this. Now, I always talk about gaming, and this is not by any means a gaming machine. It has the integrated graphics and an older processor. There are some games from, places like Steam, some lower intensity games that you can run on here. But where the computer really excels is with cloud gaming, which is huge now. Various cloud gaming services works great on here. You can pair up a Xbox or a PlayStation controller through Bluetooth with no problem to this computer and use that to control your cloud games, or you can stream them from another computer in your house. Or if you just want to play, kind of those lower intensity from a technical perspective, lower intensity games, then those work just great too. Okay, so now I wanted to talk about the stuff that's built into macOS. This is the ecosystem stuff, the stuff that makes an Apple an Apple. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about first is something that did not work when I originally installed Ventura on this computer, and that's universal control. Now, this is the ability to have a iPad or an iPhone and a Mac, either a desktop or in this case, a laptop, and be able to use the keyboard and mouse from that device on other devices. That actually works very, very well, and I could not get this to work previously. Next thing I wanted to talk about that works great is AirDrop. And if you don't know, AirDrop is the ability to see other devices on your network, other Apple devices, and just be able to drag files and drop them right over to one of the other devices. This works just as you would expect it on a supported Mac. The next thing that works is Sidecar. This is the ability to use your iPad as a secondary display for your laptop. It does work, but it's a little bit wonky. It gets a little bit pixelated, and this is whether I'm doing it wirelessly or wired. So it does work, but the resolution isn't great, and it does kind of, flicker and get a little jagged. Not sure what that is. I'm assuming it's because this isn't officially supported, but in a pinch, you can use it, and it does work. Now, one thing that does not work, or at least I couldn't get it working on this computer with my iPhone, is the ability to use your iPhone camera as a camera on your Mac. Now, it does show up in the Mac. Like if I go into FaceTime and pull down the cameras, I can select it in there. And on the iPhone, it shows that it's connected, but the video never shows up on the MacBook Pro. If you've had different experience with that, let me know down in the comment section. If you could tell me the specs of your machine, I'm curious what the difference is between somebody that has gotten this to work on the mid-2012 MacBook Pro and my setup. So there you go. This thing is the little engine that could. It just keeps going. I do this video every year just to see if it's held up, and I keep expecting to say, no, you can't do it anymore, but that hasn't happened yet. Now, at some point, they are going to drop the support for Intel processors in macOS, and at that point, we will no longer be able to install those versions on here. But until that happens, we should be able to keep using OpenCore Legacy Patcher to get the latest version of macOS on here. And when the next version comes out later this year, I'll be doing another one of these videos. I'll do another install video on that latest version, and we'll talk about how that works. If you have any questions or comments on this little computer or anything that I talked about in the video, leave that down in the comment section. If you like this video, please consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks so much for stopping by.